Welcome, victims, to the Horr-Gasm podcast. Kill the lights, lock the doors, get comfy, and prepare for the sexiest and scariest podcast around. I'm Nick, and with me is my co-host, Allie.
Hello.
Hey, ya.
Hiya, hiya.
A little different opening there.
Ooh. Fun.
Evolution.
It's like we're growing and evolving.
Ooh, we're Pokemon.
Woo. Name that Pokemon. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I was like, I follow this guy on TikTok who, takes you through, his whole thing is, fever dreams. We've talked about this before off air. And, it makes me think of all that stuff that you watch as kids, and that's one of the ones is what's that Pokemon? Hey, it's Pikachu! Pika Pika! And it's just so ridiculous. And I would wait for that. Or when they used to sing the songs in between.
The ending poker rap.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. And we could get a little bit of it, and we just felt like we were fucking Eminem. Rapping to this Pokemon rap. Oh my god, it's so embarrassing now when I think about it. Oh, it was crazy. But I was at an adult party, I guess. I don't know. A party, not a party. Oh my god, I'm so old. A social hanging with people that are over the age of 30. And all of them had kids, except me, basically. And one of the parents made a joke about Paw Patrol, and everybody laughed. It's just like that character on Paw Patrol, that fucking guy. And they're like, oh, killing themselves laughing. And I'm like, oh. Guess I need to brush up on my Paw Patrol to be around the married crowd now. Is that where my life's at?
I've never watched. I don't know what.
No!
I'm not a Paw Patrol guy.
Nope.
He was out of my youth.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a new-ish kind of show, I think. Right?
It's not that, I think I was at least 10 years old.
Is it actually?
I think so.
Oh my god.
But this isn't a Paw Patrol podcast.
What? We don't talk about kids' movies here?
No.
I don't believe you.
No, we are the Horr-Gasm podcast. We talk about horror movies and everything horror related.
Right.
We'll start off, though, with a sad note.
Mm-hmm.
A couple days ago, I forget what day it was, last week, Sir Ian Holm passed away.
Yeah.
That's sad. He was Ash on Alien. He was Bilbo Baggins on Lord of the Rings.
He was the priest on Fifth Element.
Yes, he was.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the best actors out there. He was just fun to watch.
Such a professional.
Very much.
Such a professional, yeah. Yeah, I was so sad. And it's one of those names that you know right away when you hear it. Yeah.
And he got knighted. That's not a small feat.
Right?
That's huge.
Yeah. And he was wasn't he 80-something? 82?
88.
88. Oh my god. That's an achievement. Good for him. Ugh.
He had an amazing career.
Yes.
And, well, sad that he has passed. We can always go back and watch his masterpiece works of just art and theater and all that. So he's gone, but he'll never be forgotten.
Exactly.
Never.
Yes. Yeah, he was too good of an actor to be forgotten, and in so many big movies.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Womp womp.
Yeah.
Boo.
But it kind of ties into the movie we watched today, Poltergeist.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is a good movie.
It was a good movie. I watched it. I think I've talked about it before. I watched it a couple months ago, probably in January, February of 2020. And just because I subscribed to a channel on Amazon Prime that happened to have it streaming. So I decided, why not watch it? We hadn't added it to our watching list at this point. And I watched it. I was like, yeah, that was good. I find it a little slow in areas, but overall, it's such a good movie.
It is.
Yeah, especially for 1982. It is, the effects are fab. Yeah. And lots of practical effects. And the non-practical, I guess, effects that they use really age quite well. Yeah.
Well, I think for the visually, ghost parts.
Yes.
Those are just dolls, like mannequins and stuff. But it looks incredible.
Yes.
And I can, from watching this again, I can feel it's like the blueprint for every other haunting movie following.
Absolutely.
Like The Conjuring.
Those are good movies.
House gets haunted. They call in a professional.
Yes.
And they clean the house.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is the Paranormal Activity.
Right.
People in the home at nighttime, they get things happening.
Yes.
And at first, they think it's fun, and then it stops being fun when shit gets weird.
And they set up the cameras and everything and try to catch. Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that those, it's such a good blueprint because there's so many different elements to this movie, sort of, and so many different things that happen. Yeah. It's like gross, and it's like with the meat scenes, and like when they pull the rope back and forth, and there's just like goo dripping off of stuff, and it's creepy with like the beings, and when they catch stuff on camera, it's like all these different ghosts, and like the little girl, like as soon as you throw kids in, it's usually creepy. Yeah, it's just, there's so many cool elements. And like the beginning, you almost forget that you're watching a horror movie in the beginning, because it's just, two weird parents hanging out, getting high, talking about swimming pools, and, the kids are having a nightmare, so it's like, no big deal, bring them into their room, and yeah. It's like, a cute little, almost National Lampoon-y sort of movie, until, then the next night you really get into the meat and potatoes of it, and it's like, oh, right, scary, right.
Yeah, like, it starts off to, like, the wife is more, she kind of sees it first, her and her daughter, and she's like all day experimenting and kind of figuring out how this works.
Yes.
Like with the chair, puts the chair on the floor. She has this floor all in the kitchen, all mapped out.
Yes.
Put the chair here, and it slides to here. Put the daughter on the floor here, and she slides to the other side. And she has a kind of like a youthful kind of wonderment of this, thinking it's really fun, it's cool.
Yes.
Until things kind of go south. It seems to want to focus on the kids. For sure. The daughter and the son.
Yes.
The teenage, she gets kind of skipped over.
Yeah, she's also very in and out of the movie. Like, I don't know. I honestly would have just cut her out of the movie. I don't think she adds anything, but
I think just the scared presence that she has.
Yeah.
Reading the trivia, they noticed when they mentioned the age of the mom, she's like 32 in this movie.
Yeah.
The daughter's 16. She's like, she was 16 when she had her. And I was like, no, I guess the dad, this is his like second marriage.
Right.
So the daughter is his daughter, but the mom's your stepdaughter. From a different marriage or a different relationship, she's his. So,
all right.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it. I'm like, yeah, I know people who are 16 who had babies. That's not that weird. I don't know. I think you could have cut Dana completely out of the movie and it wouldn't have changed much, really. Like, other than you said, like the reactions and whatnot. But I don't think that added anything extra.
No, it's more family dynamic.
Right. Yeah. It just, like, it doesn't go anywhere almost. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to throw a family member in there, I kind of want it to go somewhere. Like Robbie, his guy's got the creepy clown thing going on, and, like, Carol Ann has her whole bag of problems that, like, she's dealing with. Yeah. Like, a lot. And then Dana, like, nobody really cares about her. Like, she's barely in the movie.
By horror movie rules and etiquette, she's the smart one.
Right.
She goes south, she gets the fuck out of there. She goes to her friend's house and she's safe.
Yes.
Doesn't follow
her.
Like
she just leaves, yeah.
And no one does that. Even in this movie, they didn't listen. They stayed in the house. They didn't go anywhere else. They stuck to the house.
And they kind of just get used to it.
Yeah. Like, come on.
And get used to the happenings that go on. Like, where then when they bring in... That's why I wonder how long it was between, like, when this all started happening to when they called the...
It seemed like it was a total of, I think, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah. Because they seem to, like, have figured out how stuff is happening when it's happening. Kind of.
Maybe a little longer. Because when the main character, he's talking to his boss.
Yes.
They kind of mention he'd been gone for a while.
Exactly, yeah.
Long, but a while is usually a couple weeks. So
yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah, and when they talk about Carol Ann being, like, not in school, it's like, oh, she must have the flu like you, right? And he's like, yeah.
We all got it.
Sure. Yeah, the whole family's got the same thing.
COVID's
like,
this
yeah.
is before.
Yeah, social distance, Steve.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was good the second time around, too, kind of knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, even that, I just found it drags in parts. It's just, but you, like, feel the 3 acts, like, happening.
Yeah.
And when I start to, like, and I totally understand why they did the whole, but, like, having the first crew come in, and then having Gina come in, or whatever her name was, and then everything is fine, and then having to go back, it's just, like, it feels like it's a lot. Like, I don't know.
I get that.
Yeah, right? Like, and I enjoyed it. It's just, I don't know, it just feels like there's parts where it's like, I want to slice that, kind of.
I also like how you can tell it's a period piece. Like, you can
For
tell
sure.
it's in the 80s. You got
Yes.
Star Wars everywhere in the kids' room.
Yes.
That's awesome. Lucky kid. There's an Alien poster.
Yep.
On there. There's a Star, there's, I think, 3 Star Wars posters. Like, there's an Atari 2600 in the TV.
Yeah.
The clothes, the vehicles. They're watching football.
Yes.
And that's kind of funny seeing where this one of their friends are trying to watch the big game. They probably got some big bets going.
Yeah.
He's got a 18 pack, 24 pack, like not in a box, but just on a cardboard thing. It's all kind of.
He's
together.
biking over. Yeah.
Yeah, and he drops it, just fizzes over. But it's like the TVs, the clicker.
Yeah.
Like, not like we have. It was actual click, like 3 buttons.
Yep.
So I love those kind of movies where I know because I lived it.
Yeah.
But then someone nowadays, like some young kid, watches the movie like, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Yeah.
Like, where's their cell phone? It's like, why don't they use a cell phone? What's that big TV recorder? It's...
Exactly.
It's kind of funny watching that.
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't think sort of all the luxuries that we have now, there were, not always there, especially if you're a kid. Yeah. Like, they'll never know, cassettes and VHS and, even DVDs, I think, are eventually going to go the way of digital and whatnot. And it's crazy. But, yeah, it's even hard to find DVDs. Like, not hard, but, like, they're not as much. Like, almost everything is going to be Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like, I didn't even think about it. We have a cabin, and I brought up a ton of movies, and I just popped one in, and it wouldn't play, and I was like, what? And I was like, oh, because this is a DVD player, and I own almost primarily Blu-rays at this point.
Yeah.
Like, other than some older Disney movies, but...
I just double up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Or if I don't have it, I try and get Blu-ray.
Exactly. I found that lots of special editions are Blu-ray only. So, like, all the special editions I have are Blu-ray, but then I have, like, some throwaway copy I got on Amazon or at Walmart or something for, like, $3 or $4 that I got anyways, just to have. But that's fine.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is.
Yeah. The fashion I didn't find in this one was, like, super crazy. Like, the mom, I think, was the biggest giveaway. But, I don't know. Steve could have, like, honestly stepped into 2020 and been almost fine, I think. He didn't wear anything super crazy.
No.
It was just jeans and sweaters mostly, but... Because that's usually the first giveaway is the hairstyle and the clothing.
I was going to say the hair.
Yes.
The mom's hair is very, very 80s.
Yes.
All poofy and...
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so many blowouts. So many bangs.
Yeah.
Why was the 80s all bangs? Like, oh my gosh.
Great era. So good.
Oh, well, we're already talking about, should we get into Poltergeist?
I think talking shop's done. Let's get into Poltergeist.
1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000.
All right, so this week we watched, obviously, Poltergeist. It's a 1982 movie, and it was directed by Tobe Hooper, and it was written by Steven Spielberg, Michael Grays, Mark Victor, and the story was by Steven Spielberg. Okay, interesting. He's got such a crazy mind.
Yeah,
Hey?
he's one of the all-time great writers, directors. He's always
Right?
he always delivers.
Yes.
This, Jaws, which is kind of reference in this.
2 Steven Spielberg movies in a row.
Yeah.
Look at us. Huh. Yeah, it was a good one. It's it feels like a bigger budget movie. I don't think it was, but it feels like it was a blockbuster, I guess, kind of. Even for the 80s. You can just it's got that feel that it was like, thought about.
They spent just almost 11 million.
Jesus.
Walked away with 162 million.
Oh my
182.
God.
It was a huge success.
Yeah.
Huge success.
It's one of those movies that everybody in the horror community has kind of seen and knows about. Like, I think it's one of the bigger horror movies, and I think it's partly to do with the movie and partly to do with like all the controversies that surrounded the movie. I think that although almost made it infamous, even if you haven't heard of it, you know about it.
Yes. Well, let's talk about that a bit. Let's talk about the curse of the Poltergeist curse. Because after this movie, right, actually during filming, some of the actors had some weird things happen at home.
Yes.
The woman who played what's her name? Zelda. She played the short person.
Tangina or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
She kind of permanent. She's already medium.
Yes.
In real life, she's a medium, and she knew when her dog passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, she knew. She's like, "Oh, my dog! I think your dog passed away." And got a call right after from her home saying, "Yep, your dog passed away."
Jeez.
The main character's wife, Jo Beth Williams. I think that's who it is. She would when she came back after the shoot. All her picture frames that she'd straightened were crooked.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Weird.
And the actress who played, both actresses who played
Dana and Caroline.
Yeah. So Heather O'Rourke and Dominique Dunn. They both died not after this one, but Dominique Dunn, she was killed.
Yes.
After, this year.
Is that the girl who played Dana?
Yes.
Yeah, didn't her boyfriend kill her?
Yes.
Yes.
They had like an argument. He was trying to reconcile. She said no, and he basically strangled her until she was brain dead.
Ooh.
And yeah, that's terrible. And then after the third one, I think 1988, Heather O'Rourke, who plays Carol Ann, she passed away due to complications with like a misdiagnosis of some disease or something.
Ugh.
Like she had like a blockage in her stomach.
Yeah.
And she died of septic shock.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeesh.
It's just,
both so young.
Yeah. This is just
It's one of those like cursed movies, I know. This one, and then I think The Exorcist is another one that they always mention was cursed. But it's crazy.
Yeah.
That stuff that happens, and there's no way to explain it.
Nope.
So Nick, how did you hear about this movie? We already kind of talked about how I heard about it. So how did you hear about it?
I just grew up knowing, but again, this is something I grew up knowing.
Right.
I remember when, again, this is kind of saying the same thing over.
Yeah.
Looking at the horror movies in the rental store, I'd go flipping through and like Poltergeist. You see the little picture of the girl.
Yes.
Just sitting there with the phone to her head. That's the second one.
I was going to say the first one is her with her hands on the television.
Yes, that's the first the picture.
Yeah.
The second one has her with the phone saying they're back.
Yes.
But the first one has the tagline, "They're here."
Yes.
And that was a great tagline.
Yes.
Who's they? And they came, they count. My first impression was there were things that came through the TV.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, this looks scary. I'm not going to watch it. Nowadays, I'm like, ooh, I love this. This is a good movie. This is one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I never got to watch it until it was on TV, on TBS.
Interesting. Did they have to cut much out to have it on?
I think they did a little bit.
Okay.
Nothing too severe, but
yeah.
I think language was cut and...
Is there much language? Because I'm trying to think, like, what would they cut?
Probably a few shits, and that was that.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe the face scene where he's ripping his face off. That I can feel like would be a cut.
They might have cut that down a bit, too.
Yeah, yeah.
That was probably all the effects. That was probably the worst one they did. That was not bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll remember what they cut. For the whole TV content. But,
I love watching, when I used to watch movies on, like, those kind of shows like TBS and whatever, A&E even. And Movie Time was another one. And they'd be like, instead of fuck, it would be like, I don't even know. They'd be like,
shoot.
Yeah, shit was always shoot. But fuck was, what was it? It was so funny. It was so ridiculous. And it was almost like a grunt sometimes, too. They'd be like, ugh. And it's like, I don't think they said that. Or
they put just a blank.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I liked when they dubbed over with different words, though. It's like, that's not right. Another one is like Team America. I remember I watched it. I think it was on Netflix, and they cut out the whole, like there's whole section, because I love that movie. And there's like, I always watch the extended version, so then when I watch the Netflix version, I'm like, this is so PG. Because you miss all, like, the really gross, ridiculous, raunchy stuff that makes it so good, you know? Oh my gosh.
I like that. It was a funny movie.
Right? So silly.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, I guess we should probably get into the characters here. We've already talked about some of them and whatnot.
Get the characters up here.
Boop, boop.
So we have, starring Craig T. Nelson as Steve Freeling.
Love him.
Jo Beth Williams plays Diane Freeling.
Mm-hmm.
Beatrice Straight plays Dr. Lesh. Dominique Dunn plays Dana Freeling.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver Robbins plays Robbie Freeling. Heather Rook plays Carol Ann Freeling. Martin Casella plays Marty. Richard Lawson plays Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And Zelda Rubinstein plays Tangina.
Yes. Tangina. That's a good name. But, like, her real name's Zelda, so I feel like they're both good names. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about it. I'm ready to do the movie review.
Let's
Yay!
get right into the movie.
Right into it. It's so good, yeah.
So it starts off, we have Steve and Diane Freeling live a quiet life in Orange County, California.
Yes. It feels very California.
Oh, very.
Yeah.
It's in a planned community called Cuesta Verde.
Yeah.
Where Steve is a successful real estate developer.
Mm-hmm.
And Diane looks after their children.
Yes.
She's a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see Caroline waking up one night to, like, the TV going.
Yes.
Steve, he's kind of passed out, just falls asleep watching TV. And it's all just the American anthem.
Yeah.
No, it's the...
This is just, they just fall asleep watching TV and it just goes to fuzz after a while.
Yeah, but it's playing the I know Canada did that too. Like YTV after at some time at night, it would play the Canadian anthem.
Interesting.
And then go to fuzz.
Huh.
Yeah, I remember that because I would sneak out and watch TV. Like I'd watch Doctor Who or something, and then just go right to fuzz after the Canadian anthem.
Interesting.
So the team system was playing static, following a sign off. And you can see that she starts talking. Caroline starts talking to
This
TV.
is so creepy. It's like, I don't know how they directed her to do this, because it's like she's having a conversation. She just goes, no, no, I don't know.
And everyone kind of wakes up and like, you okay, sweetie? Like, yep.
Yeah.
They're here.
Yes.
No,
yeah.
sorry, that's the second time.
Yes.
And the next night, same thing happens again where there's a big storm and the kid are trying to fall asleep. They can't.
Yes.
Because of the storm, especially Robbie. He's having a hard time.
Yeah, Robbie seems to be scared of storms.
A little bit.
Yeah.
He goes to sleep with his hat on, which is weird.
That really bugged me.
So their dad tells them, just count the Mississippis between the lightning flash and the thunder.
Yeah, same thing we all do as kids.
And he ends up, they're in bed because it's loud and scary.
Yes, yeah.
And
too much.
Again. And Caroline gets up and she goes to TV and she talks a bit, and a white hand emerges out of it. And kind of grabs at her, and then the whole room shakes like a big earthquake.
Yes.
And I'll wake up and like, what's going on? And Caroline says they're here.
Yes, but just such an iconic line.
It is. It really, really is. And it's such a simple just description that they're here.
Yes.
And the way she says it, it's
awesome.
So next day, some bizarre events occur. Drinking a glass of milk breaks all of a sudden. Silverware bends and furniture moves on its own accord. And that's almost classic.
Right.
Where chairs, the mom puts the chairs on the table.
Yes.
Leaves a room, come back, chairs are out.
And that happens in The Conjuring 2? Pretty sure it's The Conjuring 2.
And Paranormal Activity. That's one of the ones.
Is it?
I'm sure it is.
Okay.
And then, they do she has her daughter, puts on the counter, she turns around, comes back. Chairs are now all stacked up. In
yes. Like a pyramid almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she shows her husband, and he's like, holy crap, let's just keep this on down low.
Yeah, don't tell Dana and Robbie. Like, Caroline saw it, so she already knows, but...
So the phenomenon seems benign at first, but quickly becomes more intense.
Yes.
That night, a gnarled backyard tree comes alive and grabs Robbie through the bedroom window.
That is so creepy.
And pulls him right through and tries to eat him.
Yes! With his big, goopy, yucky mouth.
Yep.
Nom.
And while Steve rescues Robbie, Caroline is sucked into a portal that appears in her closet.
Yeah.
Their feelings realize something supernatural has occurred when they hear her voice emanating from the television set that is tuned to an empty channel. So it's back to Fuzz.
Right.
And again, I love the scene when, this is damn good acting.
Yes.
Where Robbie is in front of the TV, you can hear Caroline speaking.
Yes.
And he's just terrified.
Yes.
His look is scared. His speech is scared. He is almost PTSD type because he's
for sure. He just about got swallowed by a tree, and now his sister, who they seem like they're best friends, is gone and got sucked into their closet. Ugh.
And the poor older sister, she doesn't know what to think. She's freaking out. And
she's losing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they get a group of parapsychologists to help.
Yes.
Dr. Lech, Ryan, and Mark.
Yes.
They come to the Freeling house to investigate. They determine that the Freelings are experiencing a poltergeist intrusion.
Yes. Which makes sense. They go through if it's a haunting or if it's a poltergeist and the differences between them. And
we do find out it is actually a haunting.
Yes.
It is a haunting, but they don't find out until after.
Right.
They discover that the disturbances involving more than just one ghost.
Yes.
Steve also finds out in exchange with his boss, Lewis Lewis.
Yes.
That Suesta Verde is built where a cemetery was once located. This is big. This is important.
Yes.
Because we find out he's a big time real estate investor.
Yes.
And they didn't even tell him that.
Nope.
Nope.
No, because he takes him to a mountainside not a mountain, but a hillside. He's like, oh, all this could be everything the light touches, all this could be yours.
Imagine waking up and walking out and this is your view. It's nice. And he turns around and Steve sees this huge cemetery. He's like, what about this? We have the land. We'll move it.
Yeah, we'll just dig him up and move it. You know, it'll just be 5 minutes down the road. No one cares. And he's like, nobody's made a stink about it until right now. And he's like, well, and he's just starts thinking, and he's like, okay, interesting. Because he said, oh yeah, we've done it before, right where you are. Like, it was not a big deal. So you're like, huh. Aha.
It was a really cool / gross scene here when they're doing, like, they have the cameras all set up in the house and everything's all set to go. And Marty goes to grab something to eat, and he gets like a steak out and starts kind of inching along the countertop.
Yes.
And it starts to like come apart.
Yeah.
And he looks at his little drumstick he's eating, it drops full of maggots. He's all grossed out. He goes to kind of throw up and
wash his mouth out. Yeah.
And he looks in the mirror, and it's like his face looks weird, so he kind of starts pulling at it, and he switches to the prosthetic.
I don't know.
Yes. And he starts pulling his skin and flesh off his bone and skull underneath. And it's a cool effect. It looks a little goofy.
Yeah, these days it looks not great. Once he starts pulling his like skin off, it looks better. But just the face that they have when it starts, it's like, oh, that's like a bad wax.
The way his hands are.
Yes.
The way you can tell it's.
Yeah, for sure.
I wish to do a little more adjusting with that, but that's just me being.
Or giving Tom Savini a call and like.
Yeah.
But so there you go.
So he runs into the living room to tell his other buddy.
Yes.
That shit's going down.
Mm-hmm.
And they catch all this light and ghosts kind of coming down the stairs.
Yes.
And then a bunch of like stuff falls from the ceiling from a portal.
Yeah.
And
it's like watches and coins and brooches. Yeah, just a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah, and the parents are like, this is bad, let's get the kids out.
Yes.
So Dana and Robbie are sent away for their own safety, and the dog.
Right. Aw, poor
E-Buzz. Les and Ryan call in Tangina Barrows.
Yes.
A spiritual medium.
And she's the bomb. She has the best voice.
I swear she was in Ernest Saves Christmas as one of the elves, but I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Tangina states that the ghosts inhabiting the house are lingering in a different sphere of consciousness and are not at rest.
Right.
Attracted to Caroline's life force, these spirits are distracted from the real light that has come for them. Basically, go towards the light.
Right.
Tangina then adds that there is also a dark presence she refers to as the Beast, who has Caroline under restraint in an effort to use her life force to prevent other spirits from crossing over.
Right.
So he's the bad guy. He's the one who's kind of not behind this, but he's the one who's influencing these events to really manifest.
Yes.
The assembled group discovers that the entrance to the other dimension is through the children's bedroom closets.
Yes.
While the exit is through the living room ceiling.
Right.
And they don't. After this is going on, they lock the bedroom. They don't go in there.
No.
The mom tries to, she kind of knocks on the door and sees Caroline. Caroline opens the door and it's a shriek.
Yes.
A scream, like a blood-curdling scream comes out. She slams it and just cries.
Mm-hmm.
So they decide, we got to get her out.
Yes.
As a group attempts to rescue Caroline, Diane passes through the entrance, tied by rope that has been threaded through both portals.
Yes. Yeah.
So she can't get lost.
Right.
Just follow the rope and you're back home.
Exactly.
Diane manages to retrieve Caroline, and they both drop to the floor from the ceiling.
Yes.
Unconscious and covered in ectoplasmic residue. As they recover, Tangina proclaims afterwards that the house is now clean. Mm-hmm. One of the cool effects here is when Steven's going towards, after she goes in, he goes and he yells because Tangina's giving mixed signals. She says, go towards the light, and then nope, don't, and then do it again. And he's getting pissed off. And this huge face appears. Very grotesque, very scary, and kind of scares him back.
Yes.
Which, again, it's kind of the first viewing of the Beast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the guy in the living room pulls Diane and Caroline through.
Yeah.
And, yay, they're unconscious, but they're safe.
and kind of clean them off from there. They're alive.
Yes. Yeah. Carol Ann can't remember fuck all. And Diane's got some cool, like, gray streaks in her hair now.
Which I love that effect.
Yeah.
Just that, if you get so scared, your hair will turn
gray.
Yeah. Gray. That was done in Evil Dead. It was done in Constantine.
Yes.
It's just a cool effect.
It is, yeah. Yeah. And so then we immediately move forward to, it must be a couple days later. They are packing up the house.
Yes.
They're done with that house. They're not doing anything with it anymore.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, no kidding. And so they've got a moving van. They're hauling their stuff out. And then we see that Robbie and Dana and Carol Ann are back.
Yeah.
And then we go to nighttime. They're done packing.
Steve's
he's going to go back to work. Yeah.
Done. So, leaving Diane, Robbie, and Carol Ann alone in the house.
Yes.
Diane, she's like, I need to fix my hair because I'm 32 and little.
I don't want gray hair yet.
We have Robbie and Carol. They're kind of tucking themselves in the bed.
Yeah.
And Diane hops in the tub.
Yeah.
And this is kind of hinted at earlier in the movie. There's this creepy little clown doll.
Yes.
It's huge. It's a big, scary thing. And Rob doesn't like it. Why doesn't he just toss it? I don't know. But,
and it like watches him sleep.
Well, once he was kind of up with Carol Ann. So.
Yes.
But it's on the chair. It's kind of facing him, and he's sleeping. He wakes up. Here's a sound.
Yeah.
And he looks back, and the clown's gone.
Yes.
He looks over one bit of the bed. Nope. Looks on the other. Kind of looks under the bed. Nope. And as he pokes up, right behind him, and grabs him. He starts to choke him.
Yeah, and like wraps its weird colored arms all over his neck, and like ugh.
Yeah.
And
drags him under the bed.
Yes.
This was spoofed perfectly in Scary Movie 2.
Right. Yes.
Carol Ann sees it. She starts screaming. Rob's screaming. Diane, she's kind of in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And she hears him, and she goes to get up to see what's going on.
Yes.
And she gets assaulted.
Yes.
Like her shirt's getting pulled up. She's getting kind of. It's almost like a sexual assault.
Right.
By just her movements.
It's really quick, this part, like where they're trying to pull her shirt up. They only try to do it like a couple times.
Once or twice.
Yeah.
You don't see stuff. You don't see anything.
And then
panties, but that's it.
Yes. And then she starts getting pulled up and around the walls.
Up the wall to the ceiling, down the other side.
Yes.
Robbie he's fighting off this stupid clown as best he can. He's just tearing it to pieces. Yeah, and
he's
saying, I hate you.
Yes, and you're not real. He screams like, you're not real, you're not real. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Ripping the stuffing out of it.
And we see the closet again kind of starts to glow, and these ectoplasm, I guess, tentacles are coming out of the walls, out of the door. And Diane, she tries to get in there, but she gets kind of knocked away, and there's this big monster thing
guarding the door of the kid's room.
Yeah, the beast. And again, I love this effect. It's a good puppets, they used for the effect. Looks amazing.
It's almost like a scorpion mixed with like weird sort of a head.
I wouldn't say scorpion. It's just just a very bony thing.
It's got like weird leggy things though, like pointy leggy things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like it's got like just bones for
legs,
right. Like just a little bit of a waist.
Yeah.
It's mostly arms and a big hairy head.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super creepy.
Mm-hmm. And Diane, she tries to go outside looking for help, falls into the pool.
Yes.
And then we get one of the more interesting effects.
Yes.
They thought basically corpses.
Right.
From the cemetery started popping up.
Yes.
And when they filmed this, they thought it'd be cheaper. Instead of using fake corpses, they'd use real skeleton corpses. Mm-hmm. They did not tell her until after.
But
so I don't know how many of them, maybe all, but those were actually really dead people. Those were corpses.
So gross.
Oof.
And so unsanitary, especially when you're floating in water.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's not so good.
These are all popping up, and the neighbors show up.
Yeah.
They're going to help her out of the pool being dug.
Right.
And they see the window, like there's this lights going on. She runs back in. She tries to rescue, but she can't. So she's being kind of knocked away by these. It's the force.
Mm-hmm.
The force of these ghosts.
Yes.
And Steve shows up, and he's like, "Oh no, what's going on now?"
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to get to them. She gets the kids out. Luckily,
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole wind tunnel kind of suction.
Trying to suck the kids back in the closet.
And this time, like, the closet looks weird. It's all kind of fleshy and gross looking. There's this one tentacle trying to grab him.
Mm-hmm.
She pulls him out of the room and runs to the front door.
Yes.
But nope, there's more skeletons and coffins popping up, which is spooky.
Yes. And like they just shove themselves out of the ground, like wherever they're running, there's coffins just popping up and corpses flopping out.
Yeah.
Like it's so gross.
Yeah. Steve confronts Teague about realizing that rather than relocating the cemetery, he just had the tombstones moved and the bodies left behind.
Yes.
That's what's happening here. Basically, they took the headstones, but the bodies that were buried were kept there and basically were disturbed.
Yes, exactly.
This holy ground became unholy because of the whole situation.
Exactly. So they're being haunted by all these different spirits, basically.
Yes. So the Freelings, they flee Costa Verde, and again, and this is a great effect. A good scene where the oldest daughter shows up with her boyfriend or friend in a Trans Am, and she's screaming, "What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?"
Yes.
And they're like, "Get the fuck in the car, let's get out of here." And they do. They basically leave. They take off.
Exactly.
And as we're leaving, everyone, like the neighbors, are coming and watching. The house is just imploding itself. It's almost like it's eating itself, being sucked into the closet. It's all left is just the glowy light.
Yep.
And we then see the Freelings. They check into a motel.
Yep.
And Steve rolls the TV out.
Yes.
Fuck that noise.
No more TVs ever.
Nope. And the end.
Yeah.
That's how this lovely, great movie ends.
Yes. With some haunted burial grounds and some lying and some child scares and it's a crazy movie. It is such a good movie for its time, and I feel like I agree with you. It almost started to kick off the haunting movies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a blueprint. You get weird events, happening. They seem benign, they seem nice at first, and then they turn sinister, and there's more evil motive behind them, and then they gotta get something to help them.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen anything like different yet.
Yes. And you see like the paranormal people trying to help them, and
they don't know what they're doing.
Exactly. They've never had to deal with anything like this before. Like, yeah, it's nuts. But I don't know. Yeah, it was a good movie. Like I said, I felt like it dragged a bit in some of the acts, but like the acting was so good.
Yes,
the effects were really good.
The kids actually were scared. Like Caroline she was good.
Yeah.
But she could have played a little more terrified.
Yeah.
She was very kind of blah about it.
Yeah, I think the best part that she's in is when she's not even there. She's just like a corporeal being in the house. Yeah, like she's like, "Mommy, I see a light," and all that. And it's like that's I think where she shines.
Yes.
Is when she's just a voice in the house.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, yeah. The music in this again is really, really good.
Yes.
Very mood setting. Fabulous. The lighting in this is amazing. Lots of strobe lights though, so like be careful if you have any sort of like seizure warning and stuff. Yeah. Like there's a lot of strobe lights multiple times for long periods of time. Yeah. But the lighting I just find in this movie is so well done. Like the lighting is something that really stands out. Like even when Steve gets home and there's the different lights in the house sort of and the colors. like almost signify different things. Like it's so cool.
Yeah.
Really, really well done with the lighting.
The effects are fantastic.
Yes.
When they try and go into like they're testing the portal.
Yes.
They got these tennis balls with written like one signature from the one
yes.
helper, and they throw it through and it drops through. And it's all kind of goo with ectoplasm. It's like it's through. It's worked. So
yes.
She throws another one, and then that's one scene is funny. They're tying. They're planning to have
Diane.
Well, Diane's like,
yeah, Tangina was initially going to.
It's like, no, they're my mother. They don't know you. They'll listen to me. She's like, you're right. You go.
Yeah, you go.
That was a good little comedy scene.
Yes, yes. It does have humor and moments like this, and like moments of realism almost, where like, you know, when the paranormal investigators first get there, and they're just kind of, they can't believe, oh, you know, at one point, you know, I saw a car go across the room, and it took 7 hours, and I had time-lapse photography, and it was incredible. And Steve's like, oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, he
and then,
like, this is nothing.
Yeah, and then opens the door to the kids' room, and there's just chaos. Like, the clown is on the bed, rolling in circles, and the furniture is, like, moving around the room, and they're just like, what?
Yeah.
And it's just like, so they're normal by that point. That's why it must have been like a week or two that elapsed in between, because they're just so used to it.
And also, like, they kind of thought it was a hoax.
Yes, exactly.
And then they kind of thought, well, this is a hoax. They're
exactly.
Like somehow.
Yeah.
Like when they hear her for the first time, Carol Ann through the TV.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, what could it be? Could it be a transistor? Could it be a radio? And even Dr. Lesh, she's like, no, this is real. It's not a hoax.
Yes. She
tells them flat out, this is real.
And they're trying to pinpoint where the sound's coming from, and they can't.
No, they can't.
Because it's not coming from anywhere in the house.
That's another thing I like. That's other movies kind of skip.
Yes.
They're so, like, in the nowadays movies, they're like, yep, this is all real. We have no, our beliefs don't waver.
Yes.
Where in this, they're like, okay, let's try and eliminate all the possibilities until we get the impossible.
Exactly. And another thing I love about this movie is that it happens so often. And I know it's a trope where, like, one of the main characters sees something they can't explain, and they try to tell another main character, and the main character's like, psh, you crazy. But in this one, Diane shows Steve the chair going across the kitchen, and he's immediately on her side. Like, there's none of that doubt. There's none of that, oh, you're just being crazy. It's like, oh, shit's fucked up. Oh, what do we do? Yeah, like, what do we do?
He's looking at the chair. He's trying to figure out. Like, he's feeling around for, like, you know, it's fake. And then the daughter moves. He's like, okay, whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
And then they go to the neighbors and ask, you know, do you have any, and they're trying to, you know,
yeah.
No, these crazy.
Mosquitoes are kind of bad. So, by the way.
Weird happening.
Yes.
Weird how? Well, is it moving? No. You doing okay? Yeah, we're fine. We'll smoke some more dope. Which, you know, this is the coolest parents ever.
Yes.
They are like, they're in bed, they're rolling up doobies, or
they're
reading books, their kids are doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
It's just it's a really good family dynamic.
It is.
It's a great family dynamic. I love it.
Yeah, they're an adorable family. I feel like they almost did that to make you feel worse for them. You know, they're not like strict parents. You know, they're not mean to their kids. They don't hate their kids. They're just a normal, everyday family that loves each other, that they all have vices, and, you know, they're just living their best life until all this happens.
Yeah. Like when they're trying to get a hold of Carol Ann.
Yes.
When she's like, we're going to go with the closet. Tangina, she's asking which one gives up the punishment, which is the more stern. And she's like, well, Steven does sometimes.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, talk to him. Talk to her like you're mad. He's like, well, okay.
Yeah.
He kind of starts to She's like talking to a spanker. He's like, I don't spank her.
Yes.
And she's like, well, do it anyway.
Yeah, say it anyways.
Yeah. Get mad at her. You know, let her know that you're...
Exactly.
And I just get like, he's like, he never is doubtful of her.
Exactly, yeah.
Same with Robbie. although he gets ignored after he gets eaten by,
Yeah.
by a tree. They walk past him. He's covered in blood and
Yes.
and he's just standing there like, I'm having
Help.
a hard time too.
Yeah.
Where's Caroline?
Yeah.
Let's just find Caroline.
Yes.
Tree.
Yeah.
Me, eating.
Help. Help. Oh, poor guy. Jeez Louise. Well, what would you rate this movie, Nick?
4.5.
Interesting.
This is a really good movie.
Yeah.
A few of the effects are dated, but
yes.
It's all around. And like you said, it's a bit of a drags a little bit
Yes.
here and there.
Yes.
Each act has a bit of a slow spot, but it's not that long.
Yes.
And it's mostly just for plot and
exactly
explanation.
Yes.
But I really like this movie. It's a good one.
It is.
It deserves to be recognized as one of the better horror movies out there.
For sure.
The sequel is pretty good. Third one.
I've never seen either of the sequels.
I haven't seen the third one.
Okay.
I have not seen the third one. I own the second one. The second one's pretty good.
Okay.
It kind of is a continuation of the first one.
Oh.
Third one, I don't know. I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
But these are great, good movies, good series. They did a remake. It was okay. Didn't have the same feel as the original.
I believe that.
But they kind of focused more on the clown for some reason in the remake.
Interesting.
Instead of the TV and the static, it was like clown. I think it was around It.
Oh, okay.
And, it's not terrible, but it's just missing the heart that the original one had.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'd probably give it a 3.5 for like every reason I just stated. That like within the last hour, it is a really good movie. It's like I would recommend people to watch it. It's just such a classic, and you hear the classic lines, and the acting is great. But yeah, it's just some of the effects didn't age as well, and it is a little draggy, but it's fine. I would still watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is my second time watching it. I would happily watch it again. If somebody's like, hey, have you seen Poltergeist? I would be like, hell yeah, but let's watch it again. But it's just like, even when I watched it before, I didn't find it, and I know it's supposed to be scary, but I just didn't find it particularly scary anymore.
I was going to bring that up, how it's, as a horror movie, it's not terribly scary. The most scariest parts is with the beast.
Yes.
That's where it gets spooky, and the trees, and just the...
Yeah.
For people who don't like clowns, that'll
help
them a lot.
Yep.
But there's nothing really, no jump scares.
No.
Back in the day, I'm sure when the skeletons were popping up, the corpses, that would have scared some people.
Absolutely, yeah.
I like how when you hear Caroline, talking, there's someone here.
Yeah.
Get away from me. Help, help. Like, that kind of puts you on edge, too.
Exactly.
Not so much scare, but it makes you very uneasy.
Yes. Like, anytime you hear a kid screaming for help, you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was on TikTok, obviously. I don't do anything else with my life. And there was this... Have you heard of those people going randonauting? Have you heard of it? So basically, there's an app, and you put it in, and you just sign up for it, and it gives you a random location, like coordinates near your house, and some of them have been like haunted and stuff. So this one, I was watching this one, and they took them to a car in the middle of the woods by their house, and he's like recording it, obviously, and he's like finds this old rusted out car and then like kids' toys inside the car, and he's literally just like standing there. It's him and his friend, and they're just standing there or whatever, and all of a sudden you hear this help, and I'm like, ah. That's so fucked up.
I never heard of this.
It is so scary. Look up randonauting on. There's like literally 3 or 4 days ago, these 2 kids were doing it in Seattle, and they found a body in a suitcase.
I heard about that.
That's what they were doing. They were randonauting.
That's weird.
I know, and lots of people have said that like it takes you to haunted places and whatnot. So yeah, it's really messed up.
Cool.
I know, it's so cool, but it's so creepy. And that's the kind of feelings that I feel when I watch like these sort of haunted movies.
Yeah.
is they're just like, you just get that dread. Like, you know something bad is going to happen. And especially with kids. Like, if I was in the middle of a fucking forest and I heard a kid be like, help, I'd be like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Oh my gosh. Yes.
But sadly, there's no major or any kill the flicks
Right.
except for the only one, which is Tweety the bird.
Yeah. He kicks it right in almost the first scene of the movie.
Yeah.
He dies of natural causes, I guess. I would assume. I actually don't know.
I think it was due to the ghosts.
Yeah.
This is my opinion.
And then they bury him in the backyard in the flower garden, and that's about it. That's the only death in the movie.
Yeah. Well, we see when they're trying to dig up for the pool, his
yes.
little coffin gets kind of
moved,
unburied, which is kind of a good little. I never thought until now. It's more of a allude.
It's a little bit of foreshadowing there. Yeah,
it totally is.
Yeah.
I never thought that till now.
R.I.P. Tweety.
So next week,
yay!
What are we watching?
We're watching one of your favorite movies, I know for sure. And also, like, I've talked to death. I'm a huge Arnold fan. We're watching Predator next week.
Yes.
Yay!
I love this movie. It's not the biggest horror movie, but there's some pretty graphic kills.
Yes.
There's some just spooky, the look of the Predator.
Yes.
It does fall under the subcategory of horror, so screw it, we're watching Predator.
Yeah, because it's our podcast and we can do whatever we want.
That's right.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some of my favorite Arnold lines are in this movie.
Yes.
I'm some that I say at work all the time. Sorry, everybody at work.
The chopper?
Kill me now! What are you waiting for? I'm right here!
Do it now.
Do it now!
Do it. Kill me, come on, do it. No, this is a great movie, and
we're gonna have fun.
I cannot wait for this one.
Me neither. I've watched it very recently, and I'm just ready to watch it again. I love it. Oh my gosh! And on that note, thank you for joining us. This episode was brought to you by our executive producer Ichabod. We hope you enjoyed your Horr-Gasm as much as we did. Please don't forget to rate, download, and subscribe. Also, like and follow us on Facebook at Horr-Gasm Podcast, Instagram at Horr-Gasm, Twitter at Gasm Horror, and YouTube at the Horr-Gasm Podcast. If you have a movie you'd like us to review, this is the best way to let us know. We hope to see you again next week because we have such sights to show you. Plenty of Horr-Gasms for you to experience.